You have this young man named Jaylen Carey. Tell me about Jaylen Carey and why Tennessee fans should care about him. He's going to be a big key basketball player for Tennessee.
Yeah, Jaylen Carey transferred from Vanderbilt to Tennessee. He's a 6'8", 265-pound guy. He was only 23% from three and 56% from the free throw line. We talked about him yesterday, but reportedly, and the reason I think he could be a big weapon, Rick Barnes actually likes his shooting ability and thinks that he can reportedly, if he can tweak his form a little bit, make him a very reliable shooter. If he becomes efficient from outside, he can become an elite scorer. So apparently, he got a little hate mail from a little hate tweets from Vanderbilt fans.
So much for teasing that forward.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, no, I was just going to say he got hate from one SEC school. Who might it be? But that's fine. Go ahead.
I didn't know you were teasing it.
That's fine. Brought to you by Double D Piping.
Double D Piping provides full-service fire protection on any scale. From residential homes to government facilities, we can assist any customer through design, fabrication, installation, inspection, and demonstration of fire suppression systems. With 30 years of service across 5 states and a full staff with over 40 years experience, our quality can't be beaten. Don't get caught watching what you could have prevented. Call Double D Piping.
All right, Caleb. So Vanderbilt throwing some shade at Tennessee's newest basketball player.
Yeah, having transferred from Vanderbilt. Well, Carey says he's getting hate from Vanderbilt. He's gotten some disdain from Vanderbilt, and he reportedly told Rocky Top Insider, quote, "I'm a Vol now, man. I don't care about no black and gold. I bleed orange now, man. I don't care what they've got to say."
Well, if he says something like that, how does he not expect some blowback?
Well, this was in response to blowback and disdain, sounds like.
Okay, well, he shouldn't care. He should want to move on. Listen, I mean, I've made employers mad when I left before. And, you know, in particular, the Knoxville News Sentinel. They were really upset with me. But I'm sorry, I did the right thing as I saw it at the time for me, and I don't regret that. Caleb, Carey's doing what he sees as the right thing for him, and he doesn't need to worry about what Vanderbilt fans think. Now, that all sounds good, but what happens when a guy goes from Alabama to Auburn or Auburn to Alabama?
I mean,
yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's just kind of the nature of how things work, you know, and I mean, it's we talk about last year. I mean, Tennessee picked up Miles Kitselman. Miles Kitselman came to Tennessee from Alabama. So
right, but I don't think Alabama fans had a problem with Miles Kitselman because he wasn't very productive when he left Tuscaloosa.
Fair enough. I think just in general, though, I think that I don't think this is let me ask you this, like the hate he gets from Vanderbilt fans, is it legitimate, or do you believe that it's much ado about nothing, just standard for like leaving a school that you played for?
I think it's much ado about nothing. I think you're going to hear that a lot. I've covered recruiting situations. I remember a Tennessee offensive lineman. First of all, Albert Haynesworth's mom was absolutely ridiculed and harassed for him signing. South Carolina is a bad example of that, or a good example of that in a bad way. And there was another Tennessee offensive lineman. He asked me not to share this. And this has been 15 years ago, so I'm not going to do it. But his mom lost her government job when he decided to sign with Tennessee. The day after signing day, she was out. And so that to me is a lot more serious than fans going crazy on social media, that some of these fans have nothing better to do.
I agree. I think this is much ado about nothing. Fans going crazy on social media is just a thing. It's funny. The two you talk about, I mean, he wasn't struggling or poor or anything like that, but you know the story of when Peyton Manning committed to Tennessee. I'm sure you've heard about the treatment Archie got from people in Ole Miss after that. There was a gas station basically that Archie would stop at, who knew the owner, and would make the drive from New Orleans to Oxford every day to get gas. And basically that gas station guy told him after Peyton Manning committed to Tennessee, I don't want you back in. I don't want you coming by here anymore. And it was like just insane stuff like that. Yeah. Vanderbilt losing a kid to Tennessee. I think this is much of ado about nothing. You're going to get some hate. You'll probably get booed when you touch the ball next year at Memorial Gym. So what? Like, and you know, that's just something that's par for the course when you transfer. But look, also then there's, I call it the Michael Jordan effect. Like, maybe he needs to see this to fuel him. Sometimes people need to like create that motivation for themselves.
Well, I mean, let's look at Cade Mays. Cade Mays went from Georgia to Tennessee. Those are rivals.
Yep.
I think Georgia felt like they lost a good player, maybe not an elite player. So they weren't as upset about it. But at the end of the day, even if Cade was ridiculed by every Georgia fan in the history of the world, he got to play with his brother, got to play with Trey Smith. They're very close friends. Would he change that at all? No, he got to play for a competent coach instead of a doofus. Well, that's arguable. But he didn't play for the doofus that was Butch Jones.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I thought Tennessee fans were way more unfair to him for committing to Georgia than Georgia fans were to him for transferring to Tennessee. I understand the upset behind Georgia fans. Tennessee fans getting upset with him for committing to Georgia when he is a 5-star offensive lineman and gets to choose to play for the program Kirby Smart is building or the 4-8 program that Butch Jones has built over 5 years. You have to go to Georgia at that moment.
What's the most insightful or incendiary transfer you can even imagine? Because I've got one. Let's say, I'm just theoretically, I'm going to turn it to basketball. And let's say theoretically, a guy like Cooper Flagg feels like he was forced back onto the court and he's got an ankle injury like he had, and he's forced back onto the court. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to the NBA. Obviously, this is very hypothetical. I'm not going to go to the NBA because I want to be 100% on the ankle. He were to ever go to Duke, to North Carolina, in other words, a basketball player I could see in this situation, it's just not bitter rivals. I could certainly see basketball having a huge monstrous reaction because most people only know the faces of 2 or 3 football players on their team.
Yeah, I think basketball and then your quarterback and your 2 or 3 biggest stars on your football team. So let's take basketball, Duke to North Carolina, incendiary all day. If you're basketball, if you have a starter in basketball that goes from Duke to UNC or UNC to Duke, it is bad. Football, I mean, you got a quarterback go from Michigan to Ohio State. Could you imagine like a quarterback plays for Michigan, beats Ohio State, and then the next year goes to Ohio State and beats Michigan?
Let me ask you this. I'm going to make you Nico for a second. Will you be Nico for me?
Yep.
Okay, you're making $2 million from the University of Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
A year. They have dedicated basically their offense to you. I mean, you would really have to stink it up in preseason camp not to be the starter, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's almost impossible. Okay, so, but you come into preseason camp and Georgia calls and said, you're making $2 million. I'm going to pay you $10 million a year. And Southern Cal calls, where he's from, say, I'm going to pay you $10 million instead of $2 million a year. Would the fact that Georgia is a rival be a factor in your decision, Caleb?
No, I don't think you.
I would in that.
You got to be thick-skinned. You got to be thick-skinned. You got to take it. I mean, like if you can't handle the tough decisions, man, you can't be playing sports. I mean, but by the way, I mean this stuff has happened in professional sports all the time. I mean, Johnny Damon signing with the Yankees after playing with the Red Sox, and
Wade Boggs.
Yeah, Wade Boggs. That's true. That's a good one. So it's
Roger Clemens,
Red Sox to Yankees. You're right.